Have you ever spent just a little too much time on the screen right before bed? I certainly have. But instead of cutting down on my favorite late night downtime, I decided to try and solve the problem with the newest tech. Blue light is very strong and is emitted by the sun. It helps us stay awake, which is good, right? But our devices also emit loads of blue light, which blocks the creation of melatonin because your body still thinks it's daytime. And the blue light from my devices was kind of getting to me. So I did a 30-day challenge to eliminate blue light out of my life using some cool tech. It was brutal, but I wasn't going to give up my favorite pastimes without a fight. I have a few categories from replacing my phone to tablet to work and productivity and even gaming. So let's get into it. Starting with my phone. My phone is probably the biggest culprit of late night blue light. Ooh, that sounds kind of nice. But there is something you can do. People all over the internet desperately want to use this as their main smartphone, and I can see why. I did too. It definitely is a smart device. It's the Books Palma 2 and the design is absolutely stunning. And I especially love the paper-like back of the device. Now, e-ink is a great way to cut down on that pesky blue light, and this e-ink device is just beautifully done. I've used it for a month and with most tasks I don't miss an OLED screen at all. And it has access to all apps in the Play Store. I absolutely love the Books Palma 2 as an advanced e-reader. As a phone though, I absolutely hate it. It wasn't designed as a phone. There isn't a SIM card slot, for example. That hasn't stopped me from trying to use it as my phone anyway. This roam Wi-Fi is a great device, by the way, if you don't want to carry your phone or don't want to drain its battery as a hotspot while working. But you can't receive calls on your number that way. This is where the no, not you, Big Hero 6's Baymax, the BigMe Hybrid e-ink phone comes in. This one does have a SIM card slot and it works great as a phone. It runs Android 11, has 6 gigs of RAM and a 2.3 GHz octa-core CPU. And it also has access to the Play Store. It's a little slower than normal phones, as is the Palma, but you naturally start doom scrolling way less. The only thing about the BigMe is that it's just not as cool and refined as the Palma 2. Its lack of rounded edges just makes it feel like a brick. The contrast is worse and the lock screen not as cool, although you can set your own. Nah, still not it. I ended up using the Palma 2 as my main smart device and then using a dumb phone on the side, this Punkt, which is probably the best phone if you want to be off the grid but still reachable. Plus it has a hotspot, so it's great as a work phone. I can definitely see the appeal of this if you want to get off of social media and reduce your screen time altogether. But I still want to use some apps, so let's test the Books and the BigMe for blue light and see if that fixes the problem. So we got our blue light meter here. Okay, so the Books Palma has 0 blue light on the blue light scale. Let's test the BigMe Hybrid, also 0. And let's test my phone that has 18.2% blue scale. Another advantage of using e-ink devices is that they use way less battery. And even with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth always on, they can last up to 3 days, not a day. If I just wanted to cut down on blue light, I take the Books Palma with me as an additional device. If I wanted to stop doom scrolling altogether because I just couldn't help myself, I take either the BigMe Hybrid as my only phone or use the Punkt. But you naturally tend to doom scroll less with these e-ink devices anyway, because it's just a little slower and less enjoyable to watch. But stick around to the end of the video to see which devices I'm keeping in my daily routine. The cameras on these are really bad though, although the Palma does make some cute retro feel images. Luckily I found the perfect screenless camera. I mean, look at how cute this paper shoot is. It has a 20 megapixel camera, SD card slot and USB-C to get your photos off, and it's made of cardboard. Just insert the frame in the center and you're good to go. It makes these very cool pictures compared to the Palma, the BigMe or even my phone. It also has these retro filters built right into the camera for this sepia effect, for example. On my favorite, set it to the second button and you have a monochrome effect. And of course, no screen and no blue light. I kind of like being in nature more. It's really refreshing. You have all this fresh air here. I kind of like it. You have all this space for your thoughts. It's really nice.
Of course, I have my DSLR with me and my drone to shoot this. You might be wondering about that. I would be at least if I was watching this video, but it's about everyday life and how you implement these things in your everyday situations.
So there are a lot of ways to overcome most downsides of these e-ink devices and go out and enjoy your surroundings more. They both lack NFC, so you can't really play with them, but navigation and GPS work fine, although it was a little finicky on the Palma 2, so I couldn't really rely on that. Which brings me to the next device. My new favorite low blue light tech from Garmin. No, not these old navs. Although I would think these old LCDs emitted a lot less blue light than modern screens, but they don't, just less lux, so they're overall less bright. I'm talking about an e-ink display smartwatch from Garmin. Now smartwatches also emit a lot of blue light, and seeing that I'm literally wearing mine to bed, I wanted to cut down on that as well. This Garmin does everything I want from a smartwatch, from tracking my exercises to checking my messages on the go. You can even pay with it, even paired to the books or the Big Me. So this blue light sub is a definite success, but doesn't have a touchscreen. Already forgave it for that one flaw during this challenge given the 29-day, yes, you heard that right, 29-day battery life of this e-ink powered device. I only had to charge it once during my 30-day low blue light challenge. The next big blue light thing to tackle is my tablet. I use it around the house a lot, mostly for entertainment, but I want to get off my computer screen more.
And do more work on the couch as well, so replacing this might be a challenge. Luckily, there are these tablets by the same company of that Palma, Books. I have the Go here and the Air 4C, and both are full Android tablets sporting an e-ink screen. The Go has higher contrast with a white background and longer battery life. The Air 4C is a little more powerful and has a color e-ink screen. A little better for watching video. The Go screen feels more matte though, and I like the paper-like feel of writing on it. It's also a lot lighter than a Remarkable, for example, and it has access to all the e-reader platforms, a browser, and all the apps in the App Store. So if you're doing more than note-taking but want e-ink, I think Books is the way to go. Both are nice devices, but I really like the texturized feel of the back of the Books Go here. It feels more like holding a real book, and seeing as I'm mainly going to use this for work, I've been grabbing the Go a lot more. I also find the screen more legible without the backlight on, and that's the thing with these devices, and I think that's true for e-readers as well. As soon as you turn the backlight on, the blue light goes from 0 to a normal percentage, like 18–90%. And that's also the case with the Books Palma and the Big Me Hybrid, by the way, but still a lot less than my iPad. But reading with a backlight in bed might still keep you up at night. Not having a backlight on the go was only an issue with watching a movie at night. It was a little bit easier with the Air 4C, but I don't think you're going to watch epic movie battles on this. But informational videos on how-tos, and even challenges like this one, are very doable. I love how these make writing very easy. I don't have to sit behind the computer all the time. I can just take down my notes and then digitize them later, using handwriting recognition, which is quite impressive, by the way. And because of the e-reader-like display, using this outside in full light is just so easy. Having access to all the Play Store apps makes using this even easier and makes it much more versatile than an e-reader or a notes-taking writing tablet. And for me, that was essential because I work in Google Docs with my team. I don't want to be writing everything down on this just to have to then copy everything later where I actually want to use it. For you, that might be an app like Evernote or something else. I like the color screen of the Air if you're trying to use this for entertainment more, but I can feel that the distance of the pen to the screen is a bit higher, perhaps because of the backlight? The color e-ink display has less contrast, and that made me want to turn on the backlight a lot more than on the Go. And that's the same with the Big Me. Do that and you're still getting that blue light intake, so that kind of defeats the purpose. All this just made me grab the Books Go throughout these 30 days instead of the Air 4C. The Books Go just has a lot more of everything I loved about the Palma. But there are ways you can write with even less impact on your eyes.
If you like the idea of working more on paper and less on the screen entirely, then these might be for you. The Moleskine Smart Pen or the Huion Note. Each takes a slightly different approach to digitizing your notes on paper. And having used them for a month, I can really start to see the different use cases for each. Moleskine's power lies in the Smart Pen, a smart device that uses an optical reader to see what you're writing and where you are on a page. Quite ingenious. You have to buy their ink inserts that fit the pen, but also their notebooks, which I found a bit dumb in the beginning because this can get quite expensive. But it isn't just a way to lock you into their ecosystem. The pen can read tiny dots on the pages, so it not only knows where you are on a page, but also what page you're on, and even in which notebook you're writing. This way you can scribble away on a page and then come back later to add something. And the order in the app will reflect the actual notebook. Now, Huion does things a little bit differently. The magic isn't in the pen. It's not even in the notebook. It's in the case. The case is connected to your phone and it recognizes where your pen is on the paper. This way, when you write, it immediately updates the app. Here you can use any notebook you want, as long as it fits the case and you're off to fill this with your ideas. But that isn't even the best part. Its superpower is that it records a time lapse of your drawing, so you can play that back. It also records audio, so I found this to be incredibly powerful in meetings. You can even click a word you wrote and then play back the audio of the moment you wrote it. This makes the Huion perfect for note-taking. But you don't have the pages in order in the app, which is why the Moleskine is far superior for situations where you have an order to things, like journaling. Whether you want to take down meeting notes or your own thoughts though, these cool ways of digitizing writing on paper will definitely help reduce your intake of blue light. I want to get into tackling the blue light I get from my work, but first a little side note. I found your digital photo frame. You might have one on a dresser in your living room or even on your side table next to your bed. But these new age photo frames still emit a lot of blue light. Luckily I found this amazingly cool solution from Waveshare. It's a 7.5-inch e-ink display that has no battery whatsoever and is completely powered and changed by the NFC on your phone. Just hold it close while using the app and voila! A new photo appears. And it doesn't consume any battery. You only have one photo at a time though, so you can't scroll through them like you would with a digital photo frame. Then let's get to work on reducing our work blue light.
Even with working more on a tablet or paper, I still have to look at the screen. A lot. The easiest thing would to just throw e-ink at the problem, right? Now there's one company that makes an e-ink monitor, but they don't ship to the Netherlands. I would have loved to try that out, but I can't order it here. I was able to use my e-ink tablets though as second and third screens using Space Desk, because, well, they're Android. Although e-ink is fine for some tasks like reading web pages or even coding, it isn't that great for others like editing, for example. It's perfect for writing though, and seeing as they're Android tablets, we should be able to hook up a keyboard to them, which just has to be something like a classic typewriter, right? It just seems like the right vibe here. But all of that doesn't really help me with working on my laptop. So to reduce the blue light on your normal screen, you have a few options. You can set your screen to night light, which is here in the options in Windows. And it's both on full brightness, as you can see. So let's test that with the night light setting on and a white screen. So that's a lux of 314 and a blue scale of 10.03%. And then let's turn that off. I have the normal, it's already a little bit bluer. I hope you can see that on the monitor. And then let's test that. So it's a lux of 413 and a blue scale of 18.89. So that's a lot higher. You can get some blue light glasses like these and put those on. Let's see if we can actually measure that. So let's see if we can test that with the blue light filter on. So that's a lux of 288 and a blue scale of 9.56. So that actually reduced it just a bit. But all of that still emits a lot of blue light, so this isn't the whole solution. You have monitors that advertise with special eye care solutions. So I went out and bought a bunch of those to test. This Zen screen from Asus is pretty cool and you can easily take it with you. It's powered through the USB-C port, so you don't need to lug around any additional power bricks. So this is going with me, working on the go. With all the eye care settings activated, it emits 70 lux and a 9.85% blue scale. Now let's test its desktop monitor counterpart, which also has blue light settings. So let's also test that with this white page. So that's a lux of 142 and a blue scale of 8.83. Then we have this BenQ monitor with low blue light plus, and that emits 153 lux and 9.27% blue scale. And then finally the MSI Pro monitor, which is low blue light activated. And let's test that with the same white page here, which is now a bit yellowish, of course. Turn that on. And that is a lux of 129 and a blue scale of 7.05. So I think this is the best monitor in terms of low blue light. The MSI Pro shows the most promise in that regard, so I'll use this in my studio for the next 30 days. Then you have this Kuntis lighting solution for your monitor, which should also reduce eye strain. And you can control it with this little puck here. So you control the color temperature to a warm glow, and scanning this together with the already good settings of the monitor itself leads to a lot more lux, 473 with a blue scale of 7.22%. So you can see a lot more without increasing the blue light. So a combination of doing more work on e-ink and the rest of it on a special monitor seems the way to go here. Okay, so we already saw watching video on these e-ink tablets wasn't the best, at least not for action movies anyways. But what about gaming? Playing a puzzle game on these books works fine, although you do need color for most, so perhaps the Air Force C is the better option there. But I mean real gaming. I hooked up my PlayStation to the tablets using remote play, but that was just unplayable. I mean, the detail just isn't there, so you can't make out what you're playing at the exact moment you're playing it, like with race games or shooters. Quite funny to try though, and I'm glad I tested that out. So gaming on a TV is just much better, but you can also hook up a low blue light monitor to the console. And this is actually also quite playable. Hello, car. Get out of the way. For PC gaming, you can of course hook up any of these low blue light monitors. This already greatly reduces the amount of blue light intake, especially for those late night gaming sessions. But they aren't the best. I think you should strive for at least 144 Hz of refresh rate when looking for a gaming monitor, and these all cap out at 100 Hz. I myself will probably game on my monitor more from now on, or apply just a big blue light filter on my entire TV. So a lot to consider if you really want to reduce your blue light intake. Okay, so let's nerd out for a moment here with a breakdown of the difference in blue light intake all of the devices we talked about will get you. So my phone has 18.2% blue light with 130 lux at normal brightness. So you could say it has 23.4 blue light coming at you from a specific point in the screen. The iPad has 18% with 123 lux. The ink devices like the phones and tablets have 0% blue scale when the backlight is completely turned off, that is. That also gives off 0 lux. You can't get any better than that. When you turn the backlight on full on devices like that though, the blue light goes to 20% with a lux of 143. So then you're right back where you started with the normal devices, except for the Books Go of course, which doesn't have a backlight. A dumb phone of course also has 0% blue scale and no light intake because you won't be watching it, so that's still the safest bet. A smartwatch has 20% blue scale and 25 lux, while the Garmin has 0% blue scale with 0 lux, just like with the other e-ink devices. My laptop without any specific settings had 19% blue scale with 413 lux. Setting it to night light gives off 10% blue light with 314 lux. The monitor with the best eye care blue light settings, the MSI Pro was the winner here, had 7% blue light at 129 lux with the blue light filter on full blast. And then lastly, adding the Kuntis light bar allows you to add brightness when working in the dark, even more lux as the laptop without night light settings, without adding more blue light to the spectrum as you would get from a normal monitor at that brightness level. So all of these options, that's a lot to take in, but at least you don't have to take in as much blue light. Sorry. Since reducing the amount of blue light is most important after sundown, I've decided to keep using my phone as my main smart device and then bring out my Palma when I go out at night or in the home after dark. But I do feel so much lighter, not doom scrolling all the time, so this challenge has helped me look at my behavior as well as the devices I choose. I love the Books Go as much as my Palma, so I've been using this a lot more for work and getting away from the screen more. And I've been trying to bring the paper shoot with me when I go out more, just to enjoy time with my family without looking at them through a screen. I'm using the MSI Pro monitor when I'm working at home without the blue light glasses because they really didn't do that much. I'm not using the tablets with Space Desk by the way, but it was a cool experiment. For gaming it mostly comes down to reducing the amount of screen time in the evening though, because I haven't found a good solution. So although all of these specialty devices can certainly help, it's also up to you to change the way you use your devices. And did it actually work for my sleep? Well, I'll let my Garmin be the judge of that. So which device do you want to see a whole video about? Let me know in the comments, and watch this video next to see why I'm definitely keeping my Garmin after the ultimate sports watch test.